What's up, ladies? So I wanted to make this quick little video to show you guys each step that we went over last night during our group lesson. Now, I don't usually include a personalized video in the group lessons, but since you guys had such a similar face and similar issues and similar things that you wanted to learn, I think this is going to work out very, very well. So let's go right ahead and get started with our step one, skincare. We're gonna be going in with whatever it is that you guys use. So I have, for myself, I use a serum, a moisturizer, and an eye cream. And remember I told you guys that we're gonna apply our moisturizer and then we're gonna wait a minute, and if our skin sucks that all in, we're gonna apply a little bit more. So that's like the one tip that I wanna leave you guys with about skincare, okay? If you have dehydrated skin and you're not drinking enough water, or your skin's not able to retain its moisture and it's very dry, when you apply your foundation products, your skin is going to suck the moisture right out of them, and you're going to end up having a lot of cakiness, dryness, and separation, which we obviously do not want in our foundation. So make sure that our skincare is correct. So start off with usually the oil, serum, moisturizer, sunscreen, eye cream. You kind of go from what's thinnest to thickest in consistency. Now, remember we talked about our eye cream and how we can apply it in a way that is more beneficial for our under eye. So we just want to tap that in, okay? If you're finding you're getting a little bit too much pulling using your pointer finger, you can go in with your ring finger. It is actually the most weak finger that we have. So it really is going to be gentle enough on that really delicate under eye skin. Make sure we apply our eye cream under our eye, but as well on the top of our eyelids. Next, we're going in with our primer. I'm using an illuminating primer because I like to have a glow from within. I find that on more mature skin, if we can use a little bit dewier and more glowy products, we actually look a little bit more youthful. So I'm taking a little bit of that. I'm going to apply that right to my skin, the same way that you would apply your moisturizer. Now, when you're picking a primer, make sure you're picking something that has the same base as your foundation. So if you're using an oil-based foundation or a silicone-based foundation, make sure you're using the same for your primer. If you're using a water-based product, make sure you have water-based primers. All right, now let's move on to our base. So with our foundation, we're going to use a brush kind of in this style. This is a kabuki style brush, and it is really great for getting a nice medium coverage, but also allowing the skin to the makeup to melt into your skin, okay? So when we use this brush, we use this motion, and we just place the product down on our skin and pull it in the direction where we want it to go. Any area that we have some excess redness, some acne scarring, some sunspots, anything that we want to have a little bit more coverage, we use this motion. This stippling motion is going to allow the entire textured area or colored area to get more product. This will mean that you can get a fuller coverage in the areas where you need a fuller coverage without having an entirely full coverage on your face. This is great for your everyday makeup, and it also, again, is far more youthful looking on mature skin than going in with a full coverage foundation. So I'm gonna go in using my CC cream. So we're going to take our CC cream product and we're just going to apply it to the back of our hand. So whatever foundation that you end up using, we are going to apply to the back of our hand. We want the product to be a little bit warm, more skin temperature than air temperature. That's going to help the product melt into the skin. So we'll take our brush and we're going to just pop that right onto the foundation, and we're going to get our brush nice and coated in the product. Once we have that, we're going to go in and we're going to start in the center of our face right around here, and we're just going to press that product and pull it out. And you can see how quickly that goes on. If you get to a point where you realize you don't have enough product on your brush, Just go back to your hand and pick up some more. Now, as you can see, we did the entirety of our face, then our forehead with whatever excess was left on the brush. Now you can see I still have a few areas with a little bit more redness, so that's when we go in with our stippling, and I'm just going to stipple onto those areas just so I get a little bit more coverage there, but still have the natural finish. Whoa, still have the natural finish everywhere else. Now I know we talked about how to do a glam look and how to do an everyday look. I'm doing this video as our everyday look, so it's going to be a little bit different than how we did our base face yesterday, but hopefully this is something that you'll be able to take forward and put into everyday use and get the most out of it. So the next step we are going to do is our concealer. Now you can choose not to use concealer. You can actually build up your CC cream under your eye area to get some of that brightening. You don't have to use concealer, so feel free to skip this step. I personally love the look of concealer. I love how it brightens. I'm going to show you guys how to use it. So I'm taking a brightening concealer, which means it is a couple shades lighter than my skin, and I'm going to apply it right into the corner of my eyes. Just like so. Now, if you're using a concealer brush, you will go in and just lightly diffuse all of these areas and pull that product across under your eye and get that completely blended into that area, just like so. Remember to hold the brush at the end so that you have a very light hand. You don't want to be smudging the makeup. You just want to lightly diffuse it and melt it into the skin, okay? If you are using a blending bud, something that looks like this, you're going to want to go ahead and grab some of your setting spray or just run it under the tap. Make sure it's a little bit damp. And then we're going to go in just with the tip of the bud, and we're just going to pat that under the eye. So we're just bouncing the bud over the concealer and pulling it out. Just like so. So you can see how it does give two different appearances. It's a little more natural, and this is giving me a little bit more of a full coverage. Now, whatever excess you have on your bud or on your concealer brush, you can go ahead and apply it to your eyelid just to kind of even out the color. A lot of the time our eyelids are a little bit redder or a little bit darker than the rest of our skin, so they do need to be concealed just a little bit. Now, if you normally have issues with creasing under your eyes, this next step is going to help you with that exponentially. So you want to go in with your loose powder, okay? So this would be your finishing or your setting powder. And you can either use the blending bud that you used, or you can use one of these little sponges. So what we do is we go ahead and we take our little sponge and we pick up some of the product. We do not need that much, so we're just going to put the excess on the side of our hand. You can see it's a lot more than I need. Now we're going to go in with our brush, and we're just going to make sure that all of our little fine lines are nice and smooth and there's no product sitting in them. Once we have a smooth base, we're going to take our little puff pad and we are just going to press under the eye. Just like so. And then you can take that down the side of your nose, into your smile lines, on your chin, anywhere that you kind of would usually get a little bit more movement or oil production, and that will just help set that entire area. So next we're going to go in and we're going to do the other eye. So same thing, we're just going to make sure that our eyes are nice and blended and that we don't have any excess product sitting on any of these areas, sitting in any of our creases. And then we're going to go ahead and take the puff and we're just going to press it down. This is going to set the product exactly the way it is right now, which is nice and smooth. So now we're gonna go in and we're gonna warm our face. So we've brought our skin tone down. We have it all evened out. It looks beautiful. It looks like skin, but we're very one tone. So we're gonna bring back some life using one of our palettes. These palettes that we were playing with yesterday, you know, have a bronzer and a highlighter and a blush. We also have one that has a bronzer, a contour, and a setting powder. So if you're not a blush person, that one might be for you. I'm gonna go in using our Peach Fight palette today. You're just gonna wanna take your double-ended brush and we're gonna pick up some of the bronzer and we're just gonna warm our face. So bronzer is not the same as contour, it's bronzer. And it goes in the high points of our face. So we're gonna put it right on top of our cheekbones and right on the apples of our cheeks, okay? So if we were using contour, we would kind of put it just right under to just add that shadow and make it look lifted. But we're using bronzer and we're just warming our face. So we're putting it in all the high points, anywhere where the sun would naturally hit us. So the other spot we're gonna put it is right on our forehead, not in our hairline. That's where we would put our contour. We're gonna put our bronzer right where our forehead rounds. That's the spot that you would usually see, you know, some sun kiss, a little bit of redness maybe if you've been out too long, but that's where we want to bring our color back. That's gonna make us look far more natural. There we go. You could already see such an incredible difference on the skin when you just add a little bit of warmth back into it. Now you can go ahead and do the sides of your nose as well. Not everybody did this in our lesson yesterday, but it does add just a little bit of definition if you want your nose to look a little bit longer or leaner or straighter. You can do that. You go right from your eyebrow, down this bone, down the side of your nose, and under the tip. Just like that. Now we're gonna go in with our blush. I'm using the peach blush. We're using the same double-ended brush. So I'm gonna pick up some of that blush. Now here's what we're gonna do. Now each of you applied your blush in a different space. So make sure you're checking your face charts to see where it is that we put our blush. Some of you it was right on the apples of the cheeks, some of you beside the apples of the cheeks, and some of you it was up around your temples. But I'm gonna do it for how I do it on my face shape. So I'll at least just show you the movements of applying blush. So I like to add volume to my cheeks. Even if you like volume in your cheeks, you will put your blush right in the apples of your cheeks. If you want to add volume to this part of your face, maybe your face is a little bit thinner, you're going to add volume here by adding some color. So your color is going to add volume, okay? So you can place it anywhere you want. Just know that if you want to do lifted, you're going to go a little bit kind of in the middle. And if you drag your blush down too low on your cheeks, you are gonna drag down your face. So make sure you're keeping it a little bit higher. A great tip to make sure you don't go too low is to always blend upwards, okay? So I'm going in right on the apples of my cheeks, and you can see I'm just gonna blend that up and out. Just like so. And we're gonna go ahead and do that on the other side. Perfect. Now we're gonna finish off with our highlighter. Now I showed you guys yesterday the diamond technique for highlighting, which is how you get your eyes to look bright from whichever angle you are turning your face. So we're gonna take our double-ended brush and we're gonna go in with the smaller side. We're gonna pick up some of the highlighter that's in our palette and we're just gonna place that right on the apples of our cheeks, kind of right under where our pupils are. Just a little bit of that highlight there. We're gonna place a little bit over here on our temples, kind of where our crow's feet come out, where our smiles naturally happen. And a little bit right above our brow. And then we're gonna go in on the center of our eye, sorry, not the center, the inner corner of our eye and just highlight that area, just kind of right beside the nose. So now wherever I turn my face, you can see that I have incredible light reflection. Just gonna keep our skin looking dewy and hydrated. We're gonna do the other side. We're just getting here right on the apples of the cheeks and a little bit over here at our temples. Right above our brow. There's a little bit too much above our brow. And some right in here on the inner corner of our eye. So now I have light reflection anywhere that I move my head. Now, if we're doing our everyday, you guys know we use our bronzer and our highlighter in order to do our eyes as well, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how we did that. So we take some of our bronzer using, again, the fluffy side of the other brush, and we're going to go ahead and just apply that right to our crease. Now, for those of you who have hooded eyes, I think it was pretty much all of you, we're going to go and do this with our eyes open so that we can make sure that we can actually see the definition that we are applying